Alright, so for this video, I want to go through a list of what I think are Jose Canseco's 5 funniest moments. Now to begin, I just want to say for some reason, I do like Jose Canseco and think he is a very interesting person. However, there are times when the 1988 AL MVP says some sensationalized and wild items. Furthermore, Jose Canseco has also done some interesting and perplexing acts on and off the field. Thus, I feel like Jose Canseco is a funny person while unintentionally trying to be funny. Possessed by me is a strange sense of humor, as these items I'm about to mention you might not think are comical, but to me, they are hilarious and bizarre. So without further ado, Jose Canseco's 5th funniest moment, Canseco doing the old switcheroo. After his playing days in Major League Baseball, Canseco would dabble into boxing and MMA fighting. During a boxing event in 2011, Jose Canseco was scheduled for a fight, but instead, Jose had his twin brother Ozzy step into the ring for him. This is all from an ABC News article. As the article stated, Ozzy's identity in the ring was blown when fans noticed that his tattoos were not the same as his brother's. The boxing promoter, Damon Feldman, stated, "I was just misled by the whole thing. I'm disgusted. The guy I thought was Jose kept asking for cash." In addition, from the article, the Canseco twins had pulled the same stunt at autograph signings in the past, and Feldman said he now wonders whether he was fooled when he hired Jose on other occasions. Jose did reply by saying on Twitter at the time, warning people to be very careful with Damon Feldman, who runs celebrity boxing. He will not pay you if you fight for him. Jose also tweeted, "Let's see who is smart enough to figure out what happened at the boxing match." Seems to me that Damon Feldman, he figured everything out pretty well. And last item I just want to add in, when Jose and Ozzy Canseco were on the same team in Oakland, there have been allegations that Jose would pinch hit for his twin brother Ozzy. However, I was not able to find any definitive evidence that this occurred, but it wouldn't surprise me. In at number 4, Jose Necro Canseco. So on May 29, 1993, in a blowout, Jose Canseco came in to pitch for the Texas Rangers against the Boston Red Sox at Fenway. Now at this time, I've only been watching baseball for about 5 years, and I don't recall seeing position players pitching up to this point. However, seeing Jose freaking Canseco come in to pitch was something I definitely needed to take a look at. What happened was that the slugger looked like he was just clowning around, throwing knuckleballs and other junk to the catcher, while in addition, hilariously shaking off the catcher's signs. Jose lobbied to come in and pitch if needed, and supposedly he did previously pitch against the Texas Rangers' AAA team in an exhibition game, throwing in the 90s, but in Boston, it was like a drunk father having fun throwing batting practice to his son's Little League team. Subsequently, Jose Canseco would later have to get Tommy John surgery and be out for the year because of this event. Interestingly, the Rangers manager who let this happen, Kevin Kennedy, would later be hired by the Boston Red Sox less than 2 years later. The same Red Sox who witnessed Jose Necro Canseco on the mound at their home park. The 3rd funniest Jose Canseco moment, Jose Canseco, the Sultan of Softball. On my YouTube feed, I saw a video with Jose Canseco hitting softballs in Rockford, Illinois, which intrigued me, so I checked out the content, and I was not disappointed. Now, I do enjoy watching Canseco swing the bat, which was nice to see in this video. Then about 30 seconds into the video, Canseco says, "How many guys do you know who are 59 years old that can hit a softball 500 feet? 0. I'm the only one who can do it." That line cracked me up. 500 feet is quite a shot to hit in slow pitch softball. But anyways, this event in Rockford was a home run derby event where the participants hit softballs into a river with a floating home run fence, with the wind being a factor. Hence, the fences had to be pulled in, which I thought was unnecessary because you have the Sultan of Softball, who's only 59 years old and who can hit a softball 500 feet. One more softball item to share. I somehow came across this. So I saw a YouTube short with Jose Canseco holding up a stack of cash, calling out the quiet and non-confrontational Aaron Judge for some reason, challenging Judge if he can hit a baseball farther than Jose Canseco can hit a softball for $250,000. Why is Jose doing this? I don't know. It's Jose freaking Canseco. I wonder what Aaron Judge would be thinking if he ever saw this. Number 2, Curly Canseco. Now this might be number 1 for most people. So in 1993, 3 days prior to his debut MLB pitching performance, no joke, but anyways, Cleveland infielder Carlos Martinez, he hit a fly ball to the warning track, and going back to the wall was the man, the Mac, the Manly Mac, the myth, the immortal legend, Jose Canseco, who has the ball in his grasp on the warning track. And then what do you know? The ball hit off Canseco's head and into the stands for a home run. When I was first aware of this, I didn't see the highlight at first, but I think either my father or friends at school were talking about the ball going off of Canseco's head for a dinger, which obviously intrigued me. Then one day, I think I was watching like This Week in Baseball, and there was a compilation of baseball plays from the week or something like that. Then in the middle of the compilation, I see Jose Canseco going back to the wall with the Mighty Mouse theme playing, you know, the one that goes, "Here I come to save the day." And then all of a sudden, the ball doinks off Canseco's head, which led to Canseco and center fielder David Hulse laughing about the incident. I always wondered about what Kenny Rogers was thinking, who was a pitcher who gave up that home run, as Rogers is one of the fiercest and serious competitors ever. As I was just wondering what was going through his head, seeing these two in the outfield joking about giving up a home run in one of the most ridiculous ways possible. Now before I get to number one, just want to give some honorable mentions. Canseco's Twitter beef and his dislike for Alex Rodriguez. Moreover, Canseco acting like he's this great rebel, claiming he was blackballed from baseball. But it's hard for me to side with Canseco because after his final MLB season, the 37-year-old Canseco, who was often on the disabled list, batted .200 in spring training before being released by the Montreal Expos because he refused to go to the minors. Then Canseco, he did sign with the White Sox AAA affiliate, the Charlotte Knights, and while with the Knights, Canseco, he batted .172 for them in 18 games before getting released. Then shortly afterward, Canseco announced his retirement. And I also want to mention that Canseco had a baseball camp video that I saw on YouTube where Canseco is wearing cutoff sleeves, and I don't know what adjectives to use to describe this camp. It was just strange to watch. But the last honorable mention that I want to get to, and this is just awesome, but in the mid-2000s, Jose Canseco, he was shopping around a demo tape around Hollywood thinking that he's an action movie star, which I would love to see. Now I really need to see this demo tape. I wish there was some way that I could see it. Alright, so the number one funniest Jose Canseco moment, Dr. Canseco. So this is kind of a compilation of items. Now let me start off by saying that Jose Canseco claims he personally injected several players with steroids in their derrieres with syringes. Now to what degree he's telling the truth, I'm not sure, but seemingly there is some truth to what Canseco is saying. But anyways, it astounds me so much that MLB players will let Jose Canseco inject them with a substance they have no idea about into their derrieres. They would allow Jose Canseco to do this, who doesn't have anything close to a medical license or a medical degree. In professional sports, your body and health, they're everything, and you're letting Jose Canseco inject you and educate you on steroids? In school, it put fear in us about how terrible steroids are. Now that might have been greatly over-exaggerated, but with that being in my mind for so many years, I think I would not trust getting medical advice on steroids from Jose Canseco. In addition, listening to Canseco speak medical jargon was also fascinating. Canseco, in his 60 Minutes interview, says he knows more about steroids than most trained physicians, in which I don't know how he came to that conclusion, but a very interesting quote nonetheless. Alright, so that's the list. Let me know if there's anything you thought that was funny that Jose Canseco said or did that he didn't mention. Now, thank you so much for all the support. I greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you once again.